Hi, welcome to Pico Playtime, the video series where I play through some cool Pico 8 games to show to you lovely people. Today's game is called Omega Zone by Kometbomb, and it's a game from 2017. Now, I started off really well this year reviewing the game Pico Kaiju, which was released right at the end of 2021, so pretty much a brand new game. And now I've fallen back into my old ways, and this is a game from 5 years ago, but it's a very good game, and it's recently been featured on Splore, which is the built-in game discovery tool on Pico 8. If you're wanting to find some cool Pico 8 games that I have not highlighted on this channel, you need to get yourself on Splore, and you need to check out the featured or the lucky draw sections. It's a really great place to find brilliant new Pico 8 games. If you don't like this channel for some reason. But if that's the case, why are you watching this channel? Anyway, let's get the game loaded up. Here we go. So, Omega Zone is a remake, demake, port, whatever you want to call it, of the classic arcade game by Midway called Omega Race, I believe, and it was ported. It's from 1981. It was ported to a whole bunch of microcomputers and whatnot in the early 80s, and now it's on Pico 8. So I say now, in 2017 it was put onto Pico 8. But anyway, let's get over that. So it's a arcade game from the early 80s, and as you may be able to tell by the graphics, it's kind of a vector style arcade game. Now, I went through a phase of completely legally and above board acquiring various ROMs of old arcade games, and some of my favourite arcade games from the early 80s were vector games, kind of like Asteroids and the like. They just look so cool. Anyway, it's really nice to see on Pico 8 a vector game. You don't really see the style anymore. And what really impresses me straight away about this game from Kometbomb, check them out on Twitter, in the usual place. What really impresses me is they've made a kind of classic vector style font to go with the game. So this isn't the usual built-in Pico 8 font. This is a custom font. That's a really nice touch. Old vector games always had really weird fonts because I suppose everything was drawn through vectors, and yeah, very often very blocky and very square, very distinctive and cool looking. Anyway, I'm spending ages talking about the font when really I should be talking about the gameplay. So let's get it loaded up. I'm going to use a controller for this, like always. Okay, so here we are. It's a very basic arcade game, well, basic in graphics anyway, from the early 80s. And yeah, there we go. Don't hit things, you will die. So yeah, you've got to put yourself in the mind of someone who wants to play a vector video game, which is basically in the mind of me. Do you want to be inside my mind? Probably not. Anyway, this is a kind of Asteroids-esque experience. We control a little I'm gonna meet the game more than halfway here and say a spaceship. Although really, it's not even a triangle, is it? Anyway, we control a little shape, and it's our job to bounce around this arena, which has got a lovely grid effect. It's like being in Tron, isn't it? It's your job to bounce around the arena, shooting the things that appear for points. This is an old arcade game. The accumulation of points is all that matters. When you destroy some enemies, you may notice, not those enemies, when you destroy the bigger enemies, they drop little yellow collectible power-up things. And when you die, you drop the same things. I believe those are just for points. Oh no, I've died. It's a very fast game, this. Doesn't lend itself well to me talking and playing at the same time. So, let's just sit on the game over screen for a little bit and just talk a little bit about what's going on. Because me talking and playing, it's always a bit of a disaster, isn't it? Anyway, you have the power-ups that you can collect. I believe they just give points and things. Now, I'll have to pay attention when you die. You kind of drop the power-ups. Does that mean you kind of drop in your score? I'm not sure. There's a variety of different enemies that appear. Some shoot back, some create other smaller enemies. So there's a nice variety of the enemies, all rendered in this really cool kind of vector style. You've got the big sweeping laser field thing. Now, you have a special power, which I'll hopefully be able to demonstrate now, which lets you pass through the laser. You have a little force field like that. Isn't that cool? You can use that to avoid enemy shots as well, although I'm not very successful at doing that. And also, you need to have a little bit of timing to not get hit by the laser field. So the only controls you've got, it's like Asteroids, you've got turn left and turn right, and then you've got thrust, and that's it for movement. Then you've got your shoot ability, which has auto fire, by the way. I appreciate that a lot. Old arcade games were completely happy with you just mashing those buttons. The build quality of those old arcade cabinets, the buttons, must have been phenomenal. However, I don't want to destroy my controller by hammering buttons, so I appreciate auto fire. Anyway, you've got auto fire and you've got your shield. Those are your main abilities, and basically each level is a kind of arena with a few enemies. And no, and you've got to destroy them all as quick as possible. Now, the longer you wait in a level, after you wait a certain amount of time, rather, the laser field will appear to make things more difficult, more interesting. As we progress through the game, we'll start to see more lasers turn up. At the moment, we've just got the 2. Hopefully, I'll be able to... hopefully I'll be able to get a little bit further in the game and show you when the 3 turn up. And eventually you can get 4 as well. No risk of me doing that with my current ability. Anyway, this is... Ooh, got a new enemy there. Looks a bit like a space invader. So, this is a very simple game. It's an old 80s arcade game. You know, there's very little in terms of kind of realistic... Oh, not even realistic. Just like the sorts of graphics you'd expect. But if you are like me and you like the vector style, then, you know, I kind of like this. I mean, I mentioned Tron. It's not widely regarded as a particularly good film, but it's a film that I really like. And yeah, it's like being in Tron in one of these vector games, isn't it? Which I think is cool. Anyway, let's have another game. Hopefully I'll be able to show you a little bit more this time. So, yeah, it's one of these kind of early arcade games where they were kind of riffing on an idea. There weren't that many games to copy back then. It's not like today where you can make your there's so many genres, even though everything seems to be Metroidvania, Dark Souls-like at the moment. But, you know, you would get a game and it might be similar to Pac-Man. This game is similar to Asteroids. Obviously, we've got the rebounding off the arena, which is quite a nice detail. And a really cool thing, which I like, is the score being in the centre of the screen, which, again, a little bit unusual. And it's like part of the level, isn't it? We have to kind of... we get in a kind of like a donut shape, aren't we, if you like? A weird kind of square, gritty donut. Yeah, this is the sort of game which you're best off just not thinking about too much. Just hold down fire, try not to get hit. So let's see. So when you die, you don't lose all your points, but you can kind of get a few more bonus points. You can kind of get a few bonus points by collecting those little yellow markers before they get destroyed or disappear. So, nice little details about this game, little touches that I like. My phone is going bonkers. I really should put it on Do Not Disturb, shouldn't I? Do not disturb me, I'm playing Pico 8. Anyway, in true kind of vector game style, and I imagine this will be the case, I haven't seen this game played in the arcades, so I'm assuming this is faithful, but when an enemy appears, there's a little kind of star effect to kind of give you a warning where they might appear, because as you may have noticed, it's very easy to have an enemy just appear directly in front of you, and then you lose a life, which is a little bit unfair. But you can kind of avoid that. You can it helps mitigate that with the little highlights. Also, can we just admire what the grid is doing? The grid changing size, that's a cool effect. I like that. I should probably say, this is an old arcade game. Potential seizure warning because there's a lot of flashing lights. You know, it was the early 80s. That's just how you got your kicks on these games. Oh, but anyway, the as you might expect from one of these arcade games, it's very fast-paced. Good gameplay. This would liberate you of much of your pocket change if you were playing it in the old arcades. And it works really well on Pico 8. I always like seeing old, maybe semi-forgotten arcade games and early kind of microcomputer games. It's always cool seeing those get a remake. I'm sure Omega Race, whatever, has some fans out there who will be really happy to see this in 2022, or more likely 2017 when this was made. Anyway, I should really stop obsessing about the year this came out and just enjoy the game for what it is. Can we just appreciate as well when you bump into the sides, that little flash there? I like that. It feels like we're oh dear, oh my, what's happening? Hurry! Oh, there we go. Okay, so does the grid change size then when... Oh, look at that. Does the grid change size when it's like in hurry mode? Maybe that's how it works. That would make sense. Now I wonder if this was in colour in the arcades. I had a brief read of the Wikipedia page. There's various parts of this which probably added the colours in later, so I don't know. Which version of Omega Race is this the closest to? Who knows? So yeah, in true arcade fashion, the real achievement of this game is achieving a high score. Achievement is its own reward, I think you'll find, to quote that guy from Twin Peaks. Anyway, there's not really a massive amount to say about this game. You can see a lot about what makes a game fun. I mean, to be honest, just flying around with the ship's pretty fun, I think. Anyway, really cool game. I'm sure you can probably make your mind up whether this is your cup of tea or not. Can we just take a moment to appreciate as well the sound? Quite abrasive sounds, but again, I imagine this is quite faithful to the original game. Game sounds were quite abrasive back then. This had to cut, the noise of this had to cut through the background noise of a noisy arcade, and I think you can probably agree with me that the sound definitely cuts through. No, I like it, really cool. It would be lovely to see this game kind of expanded on, or maybe just taken in a different direction. I'm not sure we're going to get that now, 5 years after the fact, but you know, we can hope, can't we? Maybe you should be the change that you wish to see in the world and make your own version of this. Maybe I should do that. I don't know. Hurry! No! Right, maybe I should use the... there we go. Use the special power that I have. Oh no! Ah! That was such a good move until I got laser sweeped. So yeah, Omega Zone, Kenny Omega Zone. A great little arcade game on Pico 8, I'm sure you agree. If this looks like the sort of game you want to play, you can play it on Splore. You can play it on Itch. No, you can just play it on Itch. You can't download it, unfortunately. Kometbomb has posted several other Pico 8 games and some non-Pico 8 games as well. So check out their Itch page. There's a whole bunch of games on there. Lots to check out. I really like this game though, so give it a look. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for persevering with my clumsy attempts at playing an arcade game. And also, thank you for humouring me with my ridiculous pronunciation.
Omega.
Anyway, I'm going to go and probably put Tron on the TV and have a watch of that or something. Or maybe I should get it on Laserdisc. That'd probably be more appropriate, wouldn't it? Anyway.
Omega.
Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again if I can find the stop button, I'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.